Helicopters play a vital role in emergency medical services, EMS, by enabling the rapid transport of critically ill or injured patients to specialized care facilities. In time-sensitive situations where every minute counts, air medical services can significantly improve patient outcomes, especially in remote or hard-to-reach locations. The use of helicopters allows EMS teams to bypass traffic, terrain, and long distances that ground units might struggle with. However, while speed and accessibility are major advantages, safety remains the top priority. Ensuring the well-being of the flight crew, patients, and ground personnel is essential to the success of every mission. Strict protocols and coordination are in place to maintain the highest safety standards in all air medical operations. Calling a helicopter for patient transport becomes necessary in situations involving critical trauma or medical emergencies when time is of the essence and immediate access to advanced care can significantly impact patient outcomes. Patients who are hemodynamically unstable, have life-threatening injuries, or are experiencing conditions like severe head trauma, penetrating chest wounds, or uncontrolled bleeding may require rapid air transport to a trauma center. Helicopters are especially useful when transport by ground would result in unacceptable delays, such as in rural or remote areas, or when traffic congestion or long distances make ground transport inefficient. In addition to speed, helicopters can access locations that ground ambulances may not be able to reach easily, such as mountainous terrain, isolated wilderness, or disaster zones where roads are blocked or impassable. Air medical services are also crucial for patients who need specialized care that is not available at the nearest hospital, including those suffering from burns, strokes, STEMIs, ST elevation myocardial infarctions, or neonatal emergencies. In these cases, helicopter transport ensures patients are taken directly to facilities with the appropriate resources, personnel, and technology to manage complex medical needs. Ultimately, the decision to call for air transport should balance the urgency of the patient's condition with logistical factors and the potential benefits of faster, specialized care. Choosing an appropriate landing zone, LZ, for a helicopter is a critical step in ensuring a safe and efficient air medical transport operation. The recommended minimum size for an LZ is 100 feet by 100 feet, which provides the necessary space for the helicopter to land and take off safely, while allowing a margin for error in less than ideal conditions. The surface should be firm and flat to prevent the aircraft from becoming unstable upon landing. Loose gravel, sand, or other debris should be avoided as rotor wash can create dangerous flying hazards for crew and bystanders. It is equally important to assess the area for overhead or surrounding obstacles such as power lines, trees, fences, antennas, and utility poles, which can pose significant dangers during approach and departure. If possible, the LZ should be marked clearly and secured to keep bystanders at a safe distance. Sloped terrain and soft or wet ground should be avoided, as these conditions increase the risk of the helicopter tipping or becoming stuck. Proper lighting may be necessary during nighttime operations, but care should be taken to avoid shining lights directly at the aircraft. Communicating LZ conditions to the flight crew ahead of arrival, including any hazards, wind direction, and surface concerns, helps ensure a smooth and safe landing. Ultimately, thoughtful selection and preparation of the LZ can significantly reduce the risk of accidents and contribute to the overall success of the mission. Properly marking the landing zone, LZ, is essential for guiding a helicopter safely to the ground, especially in unfamiliar or dynamic environments. During daytime operations, the LZ can be marked using high-visibility items such as traffic cones, weighted tarps, or emergency vehicles positioned at the corners to define the landing area. Flares can also be used if conditions permit and it's safe to do so, but care must be taken to avoid starting fires, especially in dry or windy conditions. At night, flashlights or vehicle headlights may help delineate the area, but it's crucial not to shine beams directly upward or at the aircraft, as this can impair the pilot's vision and hinder their ability to land safely. Instead, place flashlights on the ground facing inward at the corners of the LZ to create a visual boundary without causing glare. Any loose objects or debris within or near the LZ must be removed or secured to prevent them from becoming airborne hazards due to rotor wash. This includes tarps, tools, medical supplies, or anything lightweight that could be sucked into the rotor system or blown into people nearby. Safety personnel should also be posted to keep bystanders at a safe distance and to monitor for new hazards as the scene evolves. Clear, coordinated communication between ground crews and the incoming flight crew is essential to ensure the LZ remains secure and clearly visible throughout the landing and takeoff process. Establishing and maintaining a proper safety zone around the landing zone, LZ, is absolutely critical for ensuring the safety of everyone involved during helicopter operations. A minimum distance of 100 feet should be maintained between the helicopter and all bystanders, vehicles, and non-essential personnel. This distance helps account for the powerful rotor wash generated during landing and takeoff, which can throw debris at high speeds and cause serious injury or damage. It also ensures that the flight crew has the space they need to operate the aircraft safely without unexpected obstacles or interference. Under no circumstances should anyone run near the LZ, as sudden movement can distract the pilot or lead to accidents, particularly in the high-noise, high-wind environment created by the spinning rotors. The scene must remain calm and controlled at all times, with designated safety officers or emergency responders monitoring the perimeter to ensure compliance. Smoking anywhere near the LZ is strictly forbidden due to the obvious fire hazards associated with aviation fuel and dry or combustible materials on the ground. Even a small spark could ignite fumes or debris, creating a dangerous and potentially deadly situation. In addition, only personnel with a clear operational role and direct instructions from the flight crew should be anywhere near the aircraft. Never approach a helicopter on your own, even if it appears safe to do so. The rotors may still be spinning, and their motion can be deceiving, especially from the side or rear, where visibility is limited and the pilot may not see you. Approaches to the aircraft should only be made from the front or another designated direction, never from the tail, once the flight crew gives a clear signal that it's safe. This is particularly important because each aircraft has different configurations and safety considerations, including antenna placements, doors, and patient loading procedures. Trying to assist without proper direction can lead to accidents or damage to sensitive equipment. Ground crews should also ensure the LZ remains clear of loose objects such as medical bags, tarps, oxygen tanks, or tools, as these can easily become airborne and strike the aircraft or individuals. A properly enforced safety zone, supported by good communication and discipline, allows the air medical team to operate efficiently while keeping everyone on the ground safe. Helicopter scenes can be fast-moving and high-stress, but following strict safety protocols helps prevent chaos and ensures the patient receives timely, life-saving transport without unnecessary risk to personnel. Approaching a helicopter requires strict adherence to safety protocols to prevent serious injury or accidents. First and foremost, you should never approach the aircraft until you receive a clear signal from the flight crew indicating that it is safe to do so. Even after landing, the helicopter may still be in a high-alert operational state, and sudden or unauthorized movement toward it can create dangerous situations. One of the most important safety rules is to never, under any circumstances, approach the helicopter from the rear. The tail rotor, which often spins at extremely high speeds and may be difficult to see, is one of the most dangerous components of the aircraft. Contact with it is almost always fatal. Instead, always approach from the front or front sides where the pilot can see you, and only when directed by a crew member. This ensures that the crew is aware of your presence and can guide you safely into the operational area. As you move toward the helicopter, maintain a crouched position to stay below the level of the main rotor blades, which can dip lower than expected, especially in uneven terrain or during windy conditions. Crouching also reduces the chance of being knocked off balance by rotor wash, which can be powerful enough to lift lightweight objects or push people unexpectedly. It's crucial to secure any loose items before approaching, including hats, goggles, paperwork, or personal gear that could be caught in the wind. Loose items can be sucked into the rotor system or blown into someone's face, potentially causing injury or damaging the aircraft. Even things like stethoscopes or ID badge lanyards should be tucked in securely. If you're carrying equipment or a stretcher, keep it low and follow the cruise directions exactly. Never raise objects over your head near the rotors. Every approach should be slow, deliberate, and calm, keeping safety at the forefront. By following these guidelines, you help ensure not only your own safety but also that of the flight crew and patient during what is often a high-stakes, time-sensitive transport operation. Ensuring the safety and success of aircraft operations during nighttime hours necessitates rigorous adherence to specific ground procedures, as the reduced visibility inherently increases risk. Night landings, whether on established airfields or hastily prepared landing zones, demand meticulous attention to lighting discipline and hazard management from ground personnel. One of the most critical rules is to strictly avoid directing any white or bright lights towards the incoming aircraft. Such light sources can instantly compromise a pilot's dark adaptation, causing temporary blindness, disorientation, or distracting glare during the final, critical moments of approach and touchdown. This is particularly hazardous as pilots rely heavily on their retained night vision or specialized equipment like night vision goggles, NVGs, which can also be adversely affected by sudden bright flashes. To mitigate this, ground illumination should preferentially utilize red or amber light sources. These longer wavelengths are significantly less disruptive to the human eye's night vision capabilities, allowing both pilots scanning the area and ground crews performing essential tasks to maintain better situational awareness in the darkness. Furthermore, comprehensive hazard marking is non-negotiable. Any potential obstructions, including vehicles, equipment, personnel, terrain variations, wires, fences, or even debris within and surrounding the designated landing area, must be clearly demarcated using low-intensity, appropriate methods such as chemical glow sticks or approved, properly positioned landing zone lights. These markers must be unambiguous and visible from the aircraft's approach path to provide the pilot with a clear visual reference of the safe touchdown zone and its surrounding obstacles. Finally, maintaining stringent security of the landing area is paramount. Establishing and enforcing controlled access prevents unauthorized personnel, vehicles, or animals from inadvertently entering the operational space, which could lead to catastrophic collisions or interference, especially considering factors like rotor wash from helicopters. Collectively, these measures, careful light management, preferential use of vision-preserving colors, thorough hazard marking, and robust area security, form a vital framework for minimizing risk and ensuring the safety of the aircrew, ground personnel, and the aircraft during demanding night landing operations. Weather phenomena play an undeniably critical and often unpredictable role in the complex orchestration of flight operations, directly influencing safety, scheduling, and feasibility. Conditions such as dense fog can drastically reduce visibility below the minimums required for safe takeoff or landing, while strong surface winds or significant crosswinds can exceed the certified limits of an aircraft or create hazardous turbulence during approach and departure phases. Furthermore, the presence of thunderstorms, indicated by lightning, signifies severe convective activity that poses multiple threats, including powerful updrafts and downdrafts, hail, icing, and wind shear, all of which aircraft are routed to avoid. Even heavy rain or snow can impact visibility and runway conditions. Consequently, the potential for weather-related disruptions necessitates meticulous planning and a cautious approach. Flight delays or outright cancellations are common operational decisions when conditions are deemed unsafe. Recognizing this inherent vulnerability to weather, robust contingency planning is not just advisable but essential. This includes proactively identifying and arranging viable backup ground transportation options well in advance, ensuring a reliable alternative is readily available to move passengers or cargo should the flight be grounded or significantly delayed. Equally vital is the maintenance of clear, continuous, and multi-directional communication channels. Real-time weather information, forecasts, and operational decisions must flow seamlessly between pilots, who hold final authority regarding the safety of the flight, dispatch centers monitoring overall conditions, air traffic control managing airspace, and relevant ground support personnel. Keeping passengers or clients informed about changes and alternative arrangements is also crucial for managing expectations and ensuring a smooth transition if disruptions occur. Ultimately, prioritizing safety above all else, combined with thorough preparation for weather contingencies and transparent communication, forms the bedrock of responsible flight management in the face of meteorological challenges. Establishing and maintaining clear, concise, and accurate communication between ground personnel and the aircrew is a fundamental pillar of safe aviation operations, particularly during the critical phases of approach and landing, and especially in potentially high-stress scenarios like medical evacuations or rescue missions. All radio transmissions must be conducted exclusively on designated, clear frequencies as dictated by established local protocols or the operational plan. This adherence to radio discipline prevents interference, avoids missed calls, and ensures that vital messages are received without ambiguity. When initiating contact or providing updates, ground teams must deliver a structured briefing package containing several key elements essential for the pilot's situational awareness and decision-making. First, the precise location of the designated landing zone, LZ, must be communicated using standard coordinates, landmarks, or other agreed-upon descriptors, ensuring the pilot can positively identify the intended site. This must be immediately followed by a thorough description of any known or potential hazards within or surrounding the LZ. This includes not only static obstacles like power lines, fences, antennas, trees, slopes, or uneven terrain, but also dynamic factors such as personnel or vehicle movement near the landing site. Identifying these hazards allows the pilot to form a mental map, anticipate risks, and plan the safest possible approach and departure paths. Furthermore, providing the most current weather information observed directly at the LZ is crucial. Specifically, the wind direction and its estimated speed allow the pilot to calculate the optimal approach angle, anticipate power requirements, and adjust for potential turbulence. Mentioning other conditions like significantly reduced visibility, fog, heavy rain, or low cloud ceilings adds critical context. In scenarios involving patient transport, relaying essential patient information, such as the number of patients, their general condition or stability, and any specific urgent needs, before the aircraft even lands enables the onboard medical crew to prepare necessary equipment and anticipate patient care requirements, saving valuable time upon arrival. Finally, the briefing must include the name of the primary ground contact person and, most importantly, the specific radio frequency on which that individual can be reached directly. This establishes a clear channel for any follow-up questions from the aircrew, allows for immediate updates if conditions change on the ground, e.g., a new hazard appears, and provides a point person for coordinating activities post-landing. Delivering this comprehensive information package in a clear, structured manner, and ensuring the aircrew acknowledges receipt, significantly reduces operational risks and empowers the pilot with the necessary knowledge to execute a safe and efficient landing. Aircraft landings performed outside the controlled environment of established airports, such as those potentially required in diverse terrains, demand heightened awareness of numerous common yet potentially severe hazards. Among the most frequently cited and dangerous are vertical obstructions, particularly power lines, communication wires, support cables, fences, and slender poles. These obstacles are notoriously difficult to detect, blending seamlessly into the background clutter during the day and becoming virtually invisible at night or in marginal weather conditions. They often span valleys, roadways, or fields unexpectedly, and their exact height and tension can be hard to judge from the air, posing an extreme risk of entanglement or a catastrophic strike during approach or departure. Beyond vertical obstructions, the landing surface itself presents significant challenges. Loose materials like dust, sand, dry soil, powdery snow, or even cut grass and gravel can be forcefully agitated by helicopter rotor downwash or jet blast. This phenomenon can rapidly create an engulfing cloud, resulting in hazardous brownout with dust/sand or whiteout with snow conditions. Within such an opaque environment, pilots can instantly lose all visual reference to the ground and horizon, making it impossible to discern drift, altitude, or attitude, which can swiftly lead to spatial disorientation, unintended contact with the ground, or even dynamic rollover in helicopters. Furthermore, the immediate vicinity of the landing zone must be carefully controlled. The presence of unauthorized personnel, curious onlookers forming crowds, or uncontrolled vehicle traffic introduces highly unpredictable elements and direct collision risks. People unfamiliar with aircraft operations may inadvertently approach too closely, unaware of dangers like tail rotors or jet exhaust. Unsecured animals, particularly in rural or semi-rural settings, can also wander into the operational area unexpectedly. Even seemingly minor ground-level obstacles like ditches, stumps, or debris can damage landing gear or create instability. Therefore, thorough reconnaissance to identify all such potential hazards, vertical, surface-related, and ground-level, combined with establishing a clearly marked and strictly enforced sterile perimeter, is absolutely critical for mitigating risks and ensuring the safety of both the aircraft and persons on the ground, especially during reduced visibility operations after sunset. The safe and efficient execution of ground operations supporting aircraft landings, particularly in demanding off-airport environments or during complex incidents often encountered by emergency services, is critically dependent on a well-defined structure with clearly assigned roles and responsibilities for all involved personnel. This organization becomes even more vital during operations conducted under challenging conditions such as nighttime, adverse weather, or high-stress scenarios. At the helm is often a designated scene commander, who holds overall responsibility for managing the ground operation, maintaining situational awareness of the entire event, coordinating various team efforts, allocating resources effectively, and making key safety decisions, especially concerning the interface with air assets. Reporting to or coordinating closely with the command structure, a dedicated landing zone, LZ, officer plays a pivotal role focused entirely on the aircraft's touchdown point. This individual is tasked with the crucial responsibilities of selecting the most appropriate landing site based on operational needs and safety factors, conducting a thorough assessment for hazards, including slopes, surface stability, overhead obstructions, and clear approach/departure paths. Overseeing the preparation and marking of the LZ using appropriate lighting or signals, and maintaining its security. The LZ officer often provides the final confirmation that the zone is clear and ready to receive the aircraft. Simultaneously, other personnel fulfill specialized functions essential for safety and control. Teams assigned to crowd and traffic control are indispensable for establishing and maintaining a secure perimeter, often extending well beyond the immediate LZ. Their primary objective is to prevent unauthorized vehicles and bystanders from entering the operational area, thereby mitigating collision risks and protecting individuals from potential hazards like rotor downwash or flying debris. In missions involving medical transport or rescue, specifically designated personnel provide patient transfer assistance. This involves careful coordination with the medical flight crew, ensuring the safe, secure, and efficient movement of patients and associated medical equipment between the ground environment and the aircraft, strictly adhering to safety protocols around potentially running aircraft. Underpinning all these coordinated actions is the critical function of the communication liaison. This individual serves as the primary radio link between the ground team and the incoming aircrew. They are responsible for relaying essential information, such as the detailed LZ briefing, real-time weather updates, patient status reports, and ground contact details, using clear, standardized phraseology over designated channels. Equally important, they receive and relay information from the aircraft back to the scene commander and relevant ground teams, ensuring a closed loop of communication. This structured assignment of distinct yet interconnected roles ensures that all necessary tasks are performed methodically, minimizes confusion, maximizes safety margins, and ultimately facilitates a successful and secure interface between ground operations and aerial assets. The method for loading a patient into a helicopter primarily depends on the aircraft's design, with common configurations allowing for either side door loading or rear loading via clamshell doors or a ramp. Side loading, typical for many helicopter emergency medical services (HEMS) aircraft, involves approaching the aircraft from the front or side quadrant, strictly avoiding the tail rotor hazard and staying within the pilot's view. Ground crews, coordinating closely with the flight crew, lift the patient on a stretcher up to the door level and carefully slide them horizontally into the cabin's retention system, a process requiring precise maneuvering, especially at night. Rear loading, often available on larger or specific types of helicopters, utilizes wide-opening clamshell doors or a ramp at the tail end. This can sometimes allow for a more linear, straightforward slide-in loading process, potentially requiring less vertical lifting and providing a larger aperture, which can be advantageous. However, the paramount safety concern with rear loading is the absolute necessity to remain clear of the tail rotor assembly if the aircraft design includes one in that vicinity. Personnel must never pass under or near it. While the specific approach and loading actions differ, both methods demand unwavering attention to safety zones, constant awareness of moving rotor blades, main and tail, clear communication between ground personnel and the flight crew, and strict adherence to the directions given by the aircrew, particularly in the diminished visibility of night operations. Following a single vehicle rollover accident with critical injuries reported on a county road late this evening, local emergency responders requested helicopter transport. Ground crews quickly identified a relatively flat agricultural field adjacent to the crash scene as a potential landing zone, LZ. During the LZ setup review, it was noted that personnel used cones and chemical lights, glow sticks, to mark the perimeter according to standard procedure and established radio communication promptly. They identified power lines running parallel to the road, but assessed them as being sufficiently clear of the LZ boundaries and the planned approach path from the south, given the light northerly wind reported. The helicopter landed successfully, and the patient was transferred without incident. However, the post-flight debrief revealed lessons learned. While the power lines were technically avoided, the pilot noted the approach path felt uncomfortably close to the wires in the darkness, highlighting the need for more generous safety margins around vertical obstructions during night operations. Furthermore, while the chem light pattern was correct, increasing the number or intensity of lights, or potentially using approved LZ strobe lights, with coordination, could have provided better visual definition of the zone from a higher altitude in the very dark rural setting. Finally, the initial radio communication describing hazards, while accurate in stating the wires were clear, could have been more precise about their exact location and proximity relative to the LZ to enhance the pilot's initial assessment, e.g., wires parallel to road, approximate 75 yards east of LZ. The key takeaway emphasized more conservative hazard standoff distances at night, enhanced LZ marking for improved conspicuity, and highly precise hazard communication. Thank you for completing this lesson. We hope you found the course informative and valuable. Please proceed to the post-test to assess your knowledge of the topic. And that you for visiting EasyEMSSU.com.